This tutorial is a companion for Homework 1, getting started with SPSS and running descriptive statistics. In this tutorial, you will start to familiarize yourself with SPSS, learn to enter and label data, learn to run descriptive statistics, and get a brief introduction to editing the output. More detailed instructions on editing the output are in another tutorial. This is what you see when you first open SPSS. If you get the chance, run the tutorial. It can help you later in the semester. For now, just click Cancel to get right to the data editor. This is the data editor. You can type data into the editor, paste data into the editor, or instruct SPSS to open an existing data set. The tabs on the bottom let you go back and forth between the data editor and variable view. The variable view window lets you give SPSS information about variable characteristics. Now I will show you how to copy an existing data set from Word and copy it into your SPSS data editor. First, open your Word document. Highlight all of the data except for the labels. We'll add those ourselves later. Now copy the data. You can do this by pressing Ctrl-C or right-clicking and choosing Copy. Then return to the data editor. Place the cursor in the very first cell and paste the data. You can do this by pressing Ctrl-V or right-clicking and choosing Paste. Now that we have our data in SPSS, we just need to name our variables. So we're going to click on the Variable View tab. I will start by naming my variables, which is done in the first column. Now I need to give SPSS some information about my gender variable. The gender data is a list of numbers, which right now doesn't mean anything. I need SPSS to know what these 1s and 2s mean, and I can do that by adding values to these numbers. After I click in the value box, this dialog window opens. Here I am going to assign a meaning to those numbers. First, I will type 1 in value, then male in label, and click Add. Then I will assign the number 2 to label female and click Add. When I'm finished, I'll click OK. Now I'm going to change the measure for gender to nominal. This changes the variable to a categorical variable. Finally, I'll check to make sure each of my variables has a label, and I'm finished. This is a great time to save the data file. Click on File and Save As. When you're doing your homework, you should name this file Brain Size. Now it's time to analyze some data. For this demonstration, I will be using the variable twin IQ. For your homework, you will be using the variable full-scale IQ. The first step will be to generate some descriptive statistics. I want the mean, standard deviation, and variance. I'll do this by clicking on Analyze, holding down the mouse button, and sliding down to Descriptives, then sliding over to Descriptives on the right. Then I'll let go of the mouse button, which will open up a new dialog box. I'm going to click on TIQ, then click on the center arrow to move it over to the variable box. Then I'll click the Options button. This brings up the window where I choose which descriptive statistics I want SPSS to run. I'm going to uncheck minimum and maximum because I don't need them. Then I'll check variance. The mean and standard deviation are already checked. Finally, I'll click Continue. Now I'll click OK and let SPSS run my descriptives. This new screen that opens up is the output. This is where the results of all queries run in SPSS will be displayed. This box shows me the values for my mean, standard deviation, and variance. For example, my mean is 91.725. Extremely low or high scores can alter the mean, variance, and standard deviation. For your homework, you will be adding low and high scores to the bottom of your variable full-scale IQ and rerunning your descriptive statistics. Remember to compare the changed descriptives to the original descriptives. Each time you generate new descriptives, you need another annotation. You should also include what you did to change the descriptive in your annotation. I'll be using this busier output to demonstrate some editing. The first thing you must always do is type your name into the output. You can do that by double-clicking the text box at the very top of the output, deleting the text there, and replacing it with your name. You can also delete text boxes that contain syntax we don't need, but you're going to want to be careful later in the semester about doing that. You can also edit the headings of your tables by double-clicking into them. This is particularly useful when you're running descriptive statistics multiple times for the same variable.